r/ask Reddit. If you could get the real ass answer to any question or mystery in the world, what would you want to know? When our 10-month-old puppy jumped over the wall at the groomers she'd never been to, in a part of the city she'd never been even close to, after being taken there in a black cab which she couldn't see out of and slept the entire journey, and when my wife didn't walk home to give a scent to follow, how the hell did she run straight home across 3 miles of central London roads in 20 minutes and beat my wife there? How did you do it? I am so intrigued. We talk about it all the time. We haven't got a clue. When my wife got home the dog was just chilling on the doorstep, calm as can be, not out of breath, and happy to see her. My wife was having a full-on panic attack meltdown after the groomers told her they'd lost our dog, so it was a bit much for her. I don't care how it happened. This is just the best thing I have heard today. I am so happy she is safe. Never go back to that groomer. They came straight to the house, apologized over and over, and the girl was crying her eyes out. They brought a new collar and treats and it was all a bit overwhelming, and I'm very British and don't like confrontation, so of course we caved and went back. They did it for free and bought a new airlock style double door system so it's more secure now. I'm ashamed. At least once a day I ask myself what the duck. I'm sure if I got the answer to that one, everything else would fall into place. Well, this is home for me. I tried to make a pun about your typo, but they were all lame. If there is other intelligent life out there somewhere, I know that we, probably, will never see another intelligent life form, but it would be nice to know. It is neato some of the radio telescope stuff they are able to do now and look for atmosphere contaminants that could signal intelligent life, would likely be the best we can do. The only answer that I could get to this question that would shock me would be no. Honestly, that would be so depressing if we really are alone in the universe. If we are alone, it's because we are the first. The universe is still in its infancy, so intelligent life might exist eventually. Man, that's crazy and awesome to think about. Kinda like a sci-fi theme or a Doctor Who episode. Imagine being known through history as the first and oldest intelligent species in the universe. We literally may be this universe's precursors or old ones. What's interesting is that when you look with a telescope far enough, you are basically seeing what that planet looked like thousands or millions years ago. That planet we're looking at having habitable conditions? There might already be cities over there and we wouldn't know. Yep, our earliest radio broadcasts have barely penetrated our own galaxy. It's likely that intelligent life has existed or does exist elsewhere, but finding it is an entirely different beast. What's in the Vatican secret library? I didn't know there was a secret library. Shit's a secret. My friend was permissioned to be in there and write his thesis. Lot of old letters. Makes sense. What were they about? Entirely possible your friend just wasn't allowed to see the other stuff. Keep the valuable stuff separate from what they allowed your friend to see, you know? You need a specific permit for a specific text, and it's a very tough process. You can't just go in and browse. You go in and read exactly what you applied for and were approved to see. A lot of texts no one has been approved for either. I really want to take a peek at the documents that remain classified. It's just a long list of past presidents' penis size. So that's why they called him Crooked Nixon. What actually happens after you die? I mean, do you really want to know? What if the answer is nothing? An empty void? We will all know an answer to this eventually. Who did Epstein have dirt on? Whoa, I didn't see this until now. Thanks for the silver. Sorry I'm super late. All of them. Yeah, we basically already know he was involved with at least 2 US presidents and at least 1 member of the royal family. Could be anybody, everybody. I wish this were bigger news. He was killed because he could implicate many powerful people in an international pedophilia ring. Who was the Zodiac Killer and his complete story? There are several different theories and suspects. One of the most interesting ones I've heard of is that someone connected to Manson was behind it. But the newest theory is that it was done by Ed Edwards, a prolific American serial killer. He died, so unfortunately we may never know. I've always thought that if the Zodiac Killer was still alive he would somehow leave a secret note or letter giving away his identity somewhere or with someone to be found after his death. He was obsessed with having the public, media, and authorities know what he didn't get recognition, so he would probably want people to know his identity at some point, unless he died unexpectedly before he got a chance to leave evidence of who he is, or if he was someone well known with a completely different reputation that they wanted to be their legacy in history. Why the duck has my son just spent nearly £200 on a plain black t-shirt? For the drip. What's a drip? When your bling is iced out but that shit melting from all your hot bars, you got the drip. Just another word for immense swag. From Urban Dictionary. Slang really did peak with cool, didn't it? It haunts me that movie used to be short for moving picture. It still is. The winning numbers for the next $250 million lottery draw. Congrats, you won the Zimbabwe lottery. Okay, how much do I owe? I need about $3.50. Jeff Bezos, what is your login information for your largest bank account? Boobs with a Z. Jeff Bezos has probably misplaced more money than I will ever make. Jeff Bezos can wipe his ass with $100 for the rest of his life and still lose no sleep. Why do I need to pee whenever I get comfortable in bed, even though I peed before going to bed and didn't drink anything? What happened to Malaysia Airlines Flight 370? I believe they found pieces of debris that confirmed that it crashed. But yet, I also want to know what the hell happened. Well yeah, it didn't just keep flying up. Some say you can still see it flying on a cold winter morning. What existed before our universe exploded into existence, and how is it going to end? What scary shit is in the 95% of ocean we haven't yet explored? How a person can literally not give a duck, because every time I try, I still do. My first silver. Thank you. See, I still do care. Do flat earthers really believe the earth is flat, or are they just having a laugh? I think it's important not to give two shits what flat earthers think. It's a good test of us. Easy to clown on how stupid they are, but then it turns out we're the dumb ones for suffering fools. The Netflix documentary Behind the Curve delved into the psychology behind this and other conspiracy theories, how they attract and retain followers, and how people can convince themselves to believe even in the face of opposing evidence. Where the duck do all of my socks go? The same place all my bobby pins go. All over the ducking sink. Jamie. My bad. Where the duck did the universe come from, and why the duck are we here? This one hits me out of the blue on random days when I'm working, or resting, or studying, or running. Suddenly the hole we're on a piece of rock, attached through the spinny force, circling a fireball, in a vacuum full of more spinny shiny stuff, and no one knows where the duck it came from. It's crazy how we go through our daily grind until we die and lose sight of this fact every instance, when, if we kept that thought in our heads each day, we would be much different people. What's wrong with me? It's mainly the shots. Who is out there that would be a good husband and want me as much as I want them? I'd move anywhere and change my job and life circumstances to find a partner. If there was anything I could have done to save my daughter from being murdered by her ex-boyfriend, he decided that there was nothing you could have done. He decided, and that was it. I'm so sorry for your loss. So needless. So hard. It will never be made right. But your love for her will always be right. I can tell you now, if there was anything you could have done, you would have. I know it's kind of lame, but is space really infinite, or are we just too small to grasp such a large, well, space that we just assume it's infinite? This concept has fascinated me for a long time, so I guess I might as well ask it. I tend to think of that this way. Imagine an ant colony in the middle of a continent. That is us in the universe. A continent has edges and real sizes and volume. But from an ant's perspective, it cannot be measured, or the effort to do so would be too great to try. It might as well be infinite. Was 7/11 a part-time job? When does Half-Life 3 come out? Never. Valve is afraid of the number 3. What happened to Amelia Earhart? What in the duck happened to Madeleine McCann? My first thought was, who killed John Bennett Ramsey? But yes, this. I finished the document series on Netflix and the whole situation was way worse than I thought. Have aliens already visited Earth? The funniest theory I have heard is that UFOs, flying saucers, are time travelers going back to take a peek. Like tourists, the reason they conveniently stopped coming back once every person on Earth had an HD camera on them is just that. Once everything started being recorded on film and pictures, it became less interesting for the time travelers to visit, since they can get a better picture of what life on Earth was like, say 2005 and onward, and that's the reason you hear so many stories from the past about flying saucers. It's a more popular time period to visit, say the 60s. Why couldn't magic and fantasy stuff exist? Because we got stuck with physics instead. For me, it's got to be the John Bennett Ramsey case. I know there's more heavy-hitting questions about aliens and life after death, etc. But I just want to know what really happened. And before everyone jumps in and says it was her brother, it was her parents, you need to look at the case without blinders on. The police desperately want to charge the family with this crime, but they can't. For every "it was her brother," there's an equal amount of evidence to suggest it wasn't. We'll never know. Keanu Reeves' anti-aging skincare routine. What are the 10 most important valuable things I've ever lost and where they are located? How the course of history would change if the Library of Alexandria never burnt down. Why don't hamburgers have any ham? The original cut that a burger is based on came from Hamburg, the Hamburg steak. Why do so few of you understand how the left lane works in the US? Why it's taken my dad 15 years to get back from the store for cigarettes. Whoa, you made it to the end? You're a ducking beast. I'll cut you a deal. Smash like and subscribe for more curated content, bruh. It's free and that's a great price.